when it comes to choosing between self-management or hiring a property manager. But if you know what you're doing, save the $150 a month. But then right when I said that, it's like, golly, you're getting all that for $150 a month? Hire the dang property manager. What are you talking about? We are doing a day in the life once again. I took a break on my long format, and I know I don't get a lot of views here, but it's still worth it because I like making sure people have access to this, so that way they know my personality, they know how I do things, they know my role in the company. Because a lot of times I see on the internet, people are like, oh, I fired my property manager and it was the best thing I ever did. And it's like, honestly, you're probably saying the truth, and it's a sad thing in the industry. People in the industry, mostly realtors, saying how property management is a loss leader. Everyone thinks that you can't make money in property management, and it's hard, definitely hard. You're selling a, let's say, $150 to $250 a month product per unit across all management fees and revenue. If you have really talented team members and good software, you can cut down on labor hours because of your efficiency. Honestly, I'm meeting with a client. Well, he just bought like a 20-something unit, so he'll be up to about almost 100 doors. We meet monthly because he pays me so much, and I like to make sure he is aware of his vacancies, his short-term collection. Some people can still be late, and go over that and the plan of execution per unit, and then all the properties we have on market for him and how that's been going, and then all the lease renewals. So those are kind of like the basic data points that larger landlords pay attention to. We bring it to them on a Excel sheet every month. We break it all down. Basically, if you're paying me minimally $10,000 in management fees a month, this is one of those services that you would start receiving. Late rent, Unit 10, Washington Pike. Tenants move out. I believe they are out. And yeah, I'm marketing that unit, so I know that's listed. Unit 3, that was from last month. We're still handling that eviction. And then D1 is just behind $201, so we're kind of just monitoring that and making sure it gets late rent. You have a tenant that tipped and just trying to let you use the deposit, which we'll pull for that. And then the eviction, they tried to negotiate, but like there's no point in this time of season because we tried to work with that lady for quite some time, and you're already spending the money on the attorney. If I negotiated her to stay, I'd still have to pay the attorney $500 because you pay him up front to monitor vacancies. E2 is vacant now on Stonehenge, 5 and 10 on Washington Pike, and obviously Marshall Circle. Those three, I do have someone like ready to go and approved for $1,500 on that. I'm not letting them sign a lease until they go walk it, because I don't like the whole, oh, we're remodeling, and then someone thinks it's going to look different than.
How hard would it be to put a like a move out date or that we took possession on this vacancy report, just where we had visibility to how long it's been vacant? It's always a question that rolls in my head.
Okay.
And the way the communication comes in, it's not always easy for me to just go look that up real quick.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice to have it on there just for a talking point.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find somewhere inexpensive to rent. You get an own driveway and not always a garage, but those don't have garages. No. But you do get a driveway.
They are large units, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're defending the fort as best as possible with renewals and not trying to have things open up, and I think it's going just fine.
You see any issues with that? The renewals?
No.
That'll go smooth.
They already went.
These already happened.
Oh, they already happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were pending. Okay. Great.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, just going to keep rolling. Internally speaking, I have a field operator position out on Indeed. So what that's going to be is somebody underneath Dante.
What are you looking for with that? This is
Yeah.
management of
Turns.
Of details, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like someone that would rather just drive around all day, be left alone, and not have to touch.
Chief project manager.
Yeah.
Knows a little bit about everything.
Yeah. And I mentally, like, he and I have been knowing about that number for 6 to 8 weeks now. And it's like, I'd rather have that number with another person on the ground than sit where we're at, because we need that help. And that person can scale to where at 540 doors, on average, that's going to be 13 turns a month. And 13 turns, you can get to 3 or 4 properties a day, which means, you know, 3, let's say minimum 3 times 5 is 15 a week. So you're checking on everything weekly, which is going to be a heck of a lot more oversight than what we've ever had. Want to happen to me, happen to him, happens to everybody in property management. We're just giving out the big menu of everything we would want done, and then we're gonna have landlords tell us no on certain things because it was like overdone. Like, yeah, like new windows. Oh, no. It's like, okay, well, you said no, so we're not gonna do the windows. Instead of us assuming we're trying to run it cheap and play the game and do that, I'd rather have someone be upset with me that I'm telling them they need to do too much than too little and have them be upset at the property. And then we're gonna implement a blue duct tape, like painter tape. I'm gonna have it like if I was gonna do this room, be like, oh, like fridge broken. Be like, there'd be painter tape here, and it'd say 1. And then the piece of paper says that you give the contractor, the actual guy doing the work, that'll say 1, and it'll say fridge broken, replace. So then he's got to peel off all the blue tape while he's doing the work. And there's a item per item on an invoice. Then whenever it gets jumbled and we have a photo and a document, and it's like, Mr. Handyman, we can monitor them even better than just trying to go through our list and remember things. Because if they didn't touch it, it's still going to be there physically. Yeah.
That's where operations. What I've found in this business, period, in the operations side of things, period, is that where you're really good is dealing with the explosions. Because anybody can map it out. I mean, we mapped out every job we ever did. But what made us good was how we dealt with when we showed up. And you had such a good plan put together, And you just got to be good at freaking rolling with it, man. Moving pieces on the board.
We have gotten done with that meeting, and now we have a surprise showing. And what better thing to do on a day that it's snowing, sleeting, than to get another unit leased up so we don't have to worry about it in dead season. So single family, it's like, man, you're either a hero or a zero, because tenant lives in the unit and everything's fine, or they don't pay and you look like you don't know what you're doing. Some landlords are so good at self-managing that honestly I couldn't keep up with them, and that's the truth. Because we're a professional doesn't mean we're always better, and that's just something to keep in mind when it comes to choosing between self-management or hiring a property manager. Especially the smaller you are, if you value someone else just handling it and you don't really know how to do it, we're going to be the easy, obvious solution. But if you know what you're doing, save the $150 a month. But then right when I said that, it's like, golly, you're getting all that for $150 a month? Hire the dang property manager. What are you talking about? We got to get this window fixed. It's cracked. You can't really see it. There it is. So we got to get that fixed. And then she'll move in on April 1st. And we'll get this 3-bedroom, 1-bath rented out in Oak Ridge for $1,500. And I'll give you a little look around. This is the bathroom. 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. We're just running and gunning, and that's what it takes because it cannot be at one property for too long. So that's where mistakes can be made for sure. My billing coordinator just reached out and said we got to check the P.O. box, and luckily I am in Oak Ridge, so I can go there and get any of the remaining rent for the month. And then when we check that, it kind of just gives us a final, hey, anyone trying to act like they paid us rent, they mailed it, blah, 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 no excuses. It's the, 16th of the month. So there's, at this point, we're giving out 14-day notices. We've actually already done that on the 10th, but just to confirm with people that are kind of bullcrapping us and this and that, it's like, we checked the mailbox twice this month, and guess what? No money's there, so we're moving forward with evictions if need be. And that's what you got to do, especially with the C-class, really any class property. Keep the rules of the game consistent for everybody. You'll never get in trouble by fair housing. Internally, your team will operate smoother because it's predictable. They know the answer and the solution. And tenants oftentimes take you more seriously because they see other tenants getting repercussions because of their actions. So that's just the reality. No one likes evicting people. No one likes to sit here and do that to families or people or individuals. It's just the worst, but it's part of the business and you have to do it. And if you just allow them to stay and not pay, landlords get foreclosed on, you lose the management contract easily, and neighborhoods decay and properties get foreclosed and all the, I don't know, it's just, no, we're not doing that. None of that's happening. We use the P.O. box out here in Oak Ridge at UPS. They're like $150 a year. And I'll tell you, whether you own one rental or 1,000 or you manage, whatever, people should not have access to your personal address so easily. Of course, everything's public in this day and age and you can find out where people live. But if you're going to have tenants submit rent, get a P.O. box, and if they're going to do it in person, get a P.O. box and make them mail it by certified mail or drop it off there, and you can go get it. You're in a public space. Most of these places are open after hours. You can go and use your key whenever, and you can have all your bills sent there. You can keep everything about your investment properties sent to that P.O. box. So every time you go, it's like all your junk mail, the insurance, the taxes, the, anything you can think of from the state, private companies, 1099s, all that stuff can just be mailed physically there, and it's not hitting your personal home. And if you ever move, it's very scalable to just have somebody else go grab it, or you can grab it if you're local still, and you won't have to change that all the time. So it's security. It's very easy for procedures over the years and processes and blah, 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 blah. But bottom line, let's go get and check the mail. So I'm starting to try to put out some short formats videos, once a day, honestly, which is a lot to do while running Stonebrook, but I'm trying to look into coaching company where I teach people how to become a property manager and actually make money while doing it, and also not ripping their clients' head off from their cash flow, which is possible because I would not be doing any of this if I wasn't making good money. So my billing coordinator that does all the bookkeeping, I take photos of all of these checks physically, and we store them in a Google Space, which is basically like a Slack channel, and I let her know when I deposit money physically, because most of our rent is collected online through our portal and is automatically book kept. But all the manual entries that you do is where the inaccuracy can happen. So all of these checks can mess up our reconciliation. This is what it's like. People can pay online and there's a transaction fee of $2.50, and that's to cover the cost of what the bank can charge in the software. Yet people get so pissed off that they think I'm just crushing it and making all this money on them, that they'll mail in a money order, but we require it to be a money order or a cashier's check, which typically costs someone $10 to $15 and a stamp and an envelope. So they will literally go out of their way to make sure I don't make money, and that's how much people hate property managers, and I just think that's so funny. And there it is. So we'll make sure this teller deposited the right amount, because I take photos of all the checks, as you saw, and then now I have a receipt, and that has to get audited, and if it's wrong, we'll email the bank and we'll show them proof, and that's how it goes. And I've actually had them make mistakes before, so that's why we take pictures of everything. One of the things we're doing later today is helping a Section 8 voucher get approved. So they actually are bringing me the paperwork, because that's how the process works, and I will fill out my portion, and then they take it back to the government assistance. I think next steps would be Section 8, KCDC coming out and checking out our property to make sure it's like livable, but luckily it's a newly renovated unit. So I'm gonna hand this back over to the lady and we should be good. You have seen my main meeting. Drove out to Oak Ridge, we showed a unit, we went to the P.O. box, we went to the bank, we came out here to this property, filled out some KCDC paperwork for that, and I got my short format filmed while hanging out in that snow. Rent's due.